Delusions of grandeur, insanity, sure, there's plenty of that. But here's what you can also hear on the Nice Guys on Business.
What I want your audience to know is that I can deliver a show for their Christmas parties, or if they want a demotivational speaker, and I could work on whatever topics your corporation or party wants and adjust the details for that, and give you a unique metamorphosis where you leave worse off than you came in.
Oh, no, wait a minute. You think I'm funny, like a clown. Do the nice guys amuse you? Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Welcome back, Funkin' fans, Nice Guy community. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the mic, it's Mr. Doug Sandler. I'm going to be your motivational speaker for today. And I want to let you know.
You don't sound very motivational right now.
Well, that's the thing. I don't like to yell at people because I don't think people like to be yelled at. No. It makes their heads hurt.
Mm-hmm,
although sometimes if you make their heads hurt, it makes them forget about the other things that are really bad in their life. And I think that's actually one of the tenets that Tommy Lama does. In his speech, his demotivational speech, he basically says, hey, if you've got problems, I think you should beat your head against the wall, because then your head will hurt and you'll forget about your problems.
It's interesting when you have a comic come on the show, a guy that is a comedian that come on the show, and it's, as a guy that interviews, I didn't know what questions to ask to bring out the most of Tommy Lama, and my feeling was if I would have just shut up long enough for him to just do his thing, he probably would have been able to do his act. I listened back to the episode and I'm thinking, Doug, just shut up. just shut up.
I was a little disappointed, actually, when I listened to the interview and I checked out his website, because he's done a lot of work in Las Vegas, at the Tropicana, at the Stratosphere. Yeah. And, of course, I'm there right now. I'm coming back home today, and I'm thinking, man, I want to go see his show. And he's on the road right now. He's not in Vegas.
I was looking at his schedule. I was trying to match it up with when you're going to be in Vegas, too, which is right now. And sorry, Strick, I know you're disappointed. There. He'd actually be a really good guy to see. I would love to go to see him. Have you ever gone to something and it's totally not what you expect? Like you're thinking they're going to bring out a motivational speaker, and then you got this comedian guy that comes out that just completely kills it. And that's the kind of guy that I think that Tommy really is. I think he could open up for I did this show as an MC for this company. I can't remember where they were, maybe somewhere in Northern Virginia. And the premise was they were going to bring me out as this guy that was going to talk about the greater impact of global warming on the products and services that this company provides. And I could almost feel like when I was introduced as that guy, that it was going to be like, oh shit, this guy's really going to be boring, because that's how I presented myself, as like this really boring guy. Not that Tommy is at all a boring guy, but he presented me, the guy that introduced me, as a really boring guy. And then I got into this whole game show, and I could see this level of relief. It's almost like that with Tommy. I get the feeling like if he was introduced as this really, really just like technical guy, and he came out and he just completely killed it. But would that be a bad way to introduce a comic, because people then have this different expectation of what he's going to be?
Well, it'd be really funny. What if you are doing a presentation for a bunch of scientists, right? And they introduce you as, okay, and now we're going to be hearing from the global leader on global warming right now, Mr. Doug Sandler. And the place just erupts, right? It goes fucking crazy, like you're a rock star. And then you come out and you're like, hey, that was a joke. I'm actually going to be doing a little Simon Says. And everybody goes, oh
yeah, and everybody's disappointed. So I'm wondering if he goes out, I guess he can't really go out that way. I think he is the guy that they would bring in like the evening of, when they've done like 5-6 keynote speakers, and all these guys are like balls to the wall, like major motivation, and you're like, oh my god, I feel so up. And then you see this guy, and he's just like, Mr. What's a demotivator? He's
demotivator, yeah. He's a demotivational speaker.
And he's so funny.
We can't even really do him justice. You just got to listen to the interview, because it's just. And a little plug for him this weekend, September the 15th, he will be at Yuck Yucks Saskatoon. Saskatoon's in Canada, right?
Oh, geez, is that like Ottawa?
I don't know. It just says Yuck Yucks Saskatoon, but I don't even know where Saskatoon is. It is a one country code, so I'm guessing it means it's North America. And then on September 16th, Saturday, he's at the Humboldt Golf Club, which is 1 Street Humboldt SK. I'm guessing maybe that's Canada too. I don't know.
SK?
SK?
I don't even know where.
I could click on it and maybe find the address.
So for all of our fans listening in SK,
and whatever
you know what?
the hell SK
if you live in SK, you know exactly what we're talking about, right?
I suppose.
I would guess.
Oh, maybe SK is short for Saskatoon.
Oh, interesting. So I had my neighbor knock on my door the other day. It was around 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and we were just about to go out and wash cars outside because the weather was beautiful. Mm-hmm. And the neighbor walks by and he goes, "Hey, listen, because I'm hearing the dogs bark right now, my neighbor, and the dogs are like constantly barking. They're 3 dogs, and they bark at everything that walks by that house. It could be a squirrel, and they're barking. It doesn't matter what time." Why, for the sake of anything, why would he walk by and say, "Hey, I'm really sorry that my dogs were barking this morning"? I'm thinking, your dogs are fucking always barking. Why would you come by today? Like, are you just recognizing that your dogs are barking? I was like, what can you do? And I want to be a good neighbor, so I don't want to go over there and be a pain in the ass. I'm figuring the guy's got to know his dogs are barking. He's got to know that they're disturbing everybody that's in the neighborhood. And is there anything that you can do? Like, what could you do about dogs that bark? What can you do?
Kill them? No, sorry. I have no idea. No. I would get really frustrated with that because you're right. It would drive me nuts, and there's just nothing you can do.
It would drive me nuts.
Nothing you can do.
It drives me
nuts. By the way,
anyway, I didn't mean to get on.
Saskatoon is in the middle of Saskatchewan, which is in the middle of Canada.
Oh, okay. Like middle of Canada, like north.
I mean, it's
Canada?
like really okay. It is due north of Montana. All right, so that tells you like between Montana and North Dakota. So that's how the center of Canada is, and it's probably 2/3 of the way north in Canada. So it's pretty damn far north. Oh wait a minute. I guess if that's Canada too, the Northwest Territory, Nunavut. Yep, nobody fucking lives up there. That's too cold.
It's too cold. I'm just thinking. I'm sure the money has got to be really good for him to go to Saskatchewan.
I would hope
who's going to Saskatchewan?
Yeah, right. Well, it is September. It's not like he's going in the middle of December or something. Probably really nice up there in September.
I hear he's really big in Canada. Look at all of his dates that he has in Canada.
He does. Yeah, that's good.
He's got a lot. He's very demotivating in Canada.
Yeah. That's why they haven't attacked us yet, because he's all over Canada demotivating them.
No. I think they're not attacking because they can't. It's by the time they get to the border, they're exhausted. All of their horses and their mounties. I mean, these guys are tired.
I don't know if it's still true, but I read a fact once that the Mall of America has twice as many submarines as the Canadian Navy.
Wait a minute. How many?
Apparently, the Canadian Navy, at the time, at least, I don't know if it's still true, they actually had one submarine. They owned one submarine, and the Mall of America in Minnesota had 2.
Wow, it's a big mall. It is a big mall. I just flew through Minneapolis, as a matter of fact. We'll get into all the stories about my experiences. Oh, you know what? That was one of the
Tomorrow we're going to talk about the come and go, right?
Yeah.
We're totally teasing this. It better be a really goddamn good story.
It's going to be. And Tommy will appreciate that. Tommy Lama, if you're listening to the episode, I'm hoping that you are. Tune in tomorrow when we start to talk about come and go, okay? It's just that simple. Anyway.
Well, if that's not a great setup for the interview, I don't know what is.
Quickly, before we get to the interview, just a quick mention. If you're listening on Overcast at this point, we now have 94% of our listeners are listening on Overcast. Damn. God bless you, listeners, because we are now back in the number 1 position. Thank you very much for putting us there
in business.
In business, of course. If you are listening on Overcast, please take a moment. Right next to the play button, there is a little star. Just hit the star key. Go back and just recommend as many episodes as you can. That will ensure that we stay in the number 1 position, and we so appreciate being there. Okay, let's get to the interview. Tommy Lama right here on the Nice Guys on Business podcast. So the pressure it's off today, and I can stop really attempting to be funny because we all know that I'm not successful and nice because the great Tommy Lama will inspire you to be uninspired, motivate you to want to be lazy, and have you drinking from the Kool-Aid from mini bottles quicker than OJ can work a parole board. Excited to share a bit of a story and the fucked up message that maybe Tommy with the Nice Guys community can have here today. Welcome, brother, to the Nice Guys on Business.
The pleasure's all yours.
The issue is that as soon as I knew that I was having you on the show, the problem was for me, I got nervous because then I thought I can't be funny with a funny guy that's coming on. So how intimidated do most podcasters get when they know that you're coming on, if they have any sense of humor on the show?
Well, if you've ever seen my show, you know I don't use humor in my comedy. I use the opposite of humor. I use gravitas. It is through gravitas that the seriousness of the issues that people have, that we're able to find the levity. For example, there are people that come to my show that come with problems. They've made mistakes in their lives. Some of them are sitting next to them.
That's right, yes.
And the way you forget your problems is by me showing you how to create even bigger ones. So once you create a bigger issue for yourself, what you originally came in to see my show with, it's minute. And that's what you got to do. So let's say you have a problem smacking your lips. I'll turn you into, turn you into fire. Not turn you into fire, but getting you to pyromania, where you have now legal issues, and now you're no longer concerned.
You really raise you to the point to the next thing where you don't care about your lip smack anymore because you're fucking going to jail.
You're a quick follower, Doug. I'm very impressed. You're sharp. That's what I do.
So I watched a bunch of the videos. So you and I were connected through Kim Tracy over at the Maxwell James Agency. By the way, I've watched all the videos that you guys did together, and it's obvious to me that she definitely has a thing for you. Could you tell that from the videos, or you can't tell that?
Well, I mean, she should just join the line. A charisma like mine comes only once every decade.
And it seems to me you're definitely from either Long Island or somewhere in upstate New York. Where are you from?
The Riviera of New York, Brooklyn.
Oh, perfect. So your act is all of. I've watched a whole bunch of videos that you've done. I loved a lot of the spoofing that you do on all the get rich quick schemes and the life coach and the success guru stuff. Talk about your act and really what it is that you bring to the table, because I think you really have something unique with what you do, Tommy.
Well, what I do, it's an interactive healing show. I come to the comedy clubs because the big banquet halls won't take me, or theaters. So I come to the comedy clubs. I humbly started. I didn't start off in the comedy clubs. I started off at the Exxon station, speaking my wares, and then I got good enough.
Cutco knives.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And then I honed my craft enough where I was good enough to do the parking lot of the Motel 6.
Nice.
And then I hit the comedy clubs where I'm a living embodiment of self-improvement. I mean, look where I've come so far with so little. Some would say nothing. Virtually nothing.
Almost still nothing, almost.
Yeah, almost still nothing. Negligible.
Dude, I'm looking at like your dates. I see literally you have 30 dates, and that's just at the AA meetings between now and the end of the year.
Yes. In the AA meetings,
you kill it, man.
I have them reveal their identities, because I think when people know who you are and know what problems you have, you're less inclined to go public with it.
Wait, so have you ever thought about having your own podcast?
You know what? I have thought about it, and I should have my own podcast. It's just that people are just sucking the life of this healing business is not what it's cracked up to be. Yeah. It sucks the juices out of you.
Well, tell me, Sorry, tell me about the act though. I want to hear a little. Yeah, you're about to get into it. I mean, you have this necklace, this healing. I don't know what the necklace is. It's almost like the yin yang of.
Yeah, well, it depends what you're looking at. I have different artifacts that I wear from my archaeological finds. Like one is one of those what's it called? The Native Americans, the wind catchers. They call them wind catchers.
All right, I believe you. Dream catchers. Wind
catchers.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Wind chimes. I don't know. Tomato.
If you're wearing wind chimes.
Well, listen. You know, I'm a macro guy. I leave the micro to you. So I'm a macro guy. That's why I'm able to deal with so many people in such a short, futile time. Now, I wear the shaman, the dream catchers, because it's emblematic of spirituality, and the particular ones I wear come from its source. On Fremont Street in Old Vegas.
You're in Vegas, man. That's cool.
So there's a native shop on Fremont Street next to the billiards and next to the casinos. There's no better spiritual plane than that one. That's the most authentic. More than a reservation or a tribal entity.
I think I know it. It's right next to the Heart Attack Grill. I know.
Yes,
I know where it is.
Listen, and the Heart Attack Grill actually helps you reach your near-death experience. So it's no coincidence those two on the same block.
I understand. You help bring it's full circle with you. You bring it right back.
Yeah, no, when I weighed myself, I was like 220 pounds, and I go, wow, success.
So, Tommy, I noticed in, again, some of the videos I've watched, is that Enya that you have as your theme?
Enya, yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it sets the tone. It sets the tone. It sets the tone that you're in for a treat of. It really sets the tone of spirituality, and people say it's like the best entrance in show business.
Share some of the topics that you think, Tommy, are really in your power zone. I've watched a bunch. I could pick many of them, but I know that you probably have a bunch that are just in your love zone, in your power zone. What would it be for you?
Well, I talk about everything. I talk about diet. I talk about financial, how to diversify your portfolio. For example, the first step to success is wearing a Bluetooth headset.
Okay, that's true. Very true.
Okay. Now, there are some doubters when I say this, and they go, Tommy, but what if my phone doesn't have Bluetooth? And I go, so what? I don't even have a phone.
You just wear the headset.
And I go, you want to look more impressive, wear two Bluetooth headsets.
Oh, never thought of that.
Now, and then the people go, well, Tommy, what do people ask me why I'm wearing two Bluetooth headsets? Conference call. It's all about success. Is about perception, you know. True. Yeah, you know. You're not getting a divorce. You're unleashing a cougar.
Yeah.
You know. You don't live with your mom. You don't live in your mama's basement. You're the foundation of the family.
I like this. So I'm assuming are you still living at home, Tommy? Is that right?
Well, I tried to. My mother abandoned me when I was 30, and that's when it began. That's when it began my journey that I'm able to. I mean, I was just a child.
That must have been a big struggle for you.
Terrible. And I told my mom. I said, "Hey, Mom, what are you doing? I'm a stay-at-home child. You can't do that to me." And then she didn't care. And so I went on my journey. I traveled the Himalayas. I meditated by snorting bath salts.
God, that must have stung.
Well, I'm sure you and a lot of you viewers are against bath salts because they're high in sodium. But it really enhances the flavor when you're eating someone.
Oh, no.
So the next time you're at Bed Bath & Beyond, make sure you ask the clerk which one's right for you.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you don't want to wind up like me.
Hey, so Tommy, tell me about your place of residence. You're in Vegas. I think that Strickland, our co-host, I'm fairly sure that you are not a listener to our show. So Strickland is a big fan of the Las Vegas Strip and a lot of the casinos that are there. So talk about a little bit about your journey through the world of Las Vegas.
Well, I went into Vegas to clean up Vegas, actually, with spirituality. I was the only one-stop holistic shop on the Vegas Strip. I did 3 months at the Tropicana, 6 months at the Stratosphere, and my job is done. It's as good as it's going to get. Basically, I mean, I went into strip clubs and I told strippers, you're selling yourself short. There's more money to be made, and many of them now are doing porn.
Nicely done.
Yeah,
nice.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And a lot of people who've been to Vegas know what I'm talking about. There's a terminology for these guys, these card flickers. Where they flick cards, and there's escorts on the numbers for you to call. And I went about and tried to unionize these people. These people deserve benefits. They should, and they should know what they're selling by sampling.
Interesting approach. Approach.
And I was the biggest advocate for them to have bathing breaks in the Bellagio fountains.
Oh, I think that's good.
Yeah, these are good things that I'm saying. And you get those paper cuts from flicking, all that stuff. It's a tough life.
So Tommy, a lot of your audience are going to be, or a lot of the people that are going to be purchasing the stuff that you are selling are potentially meeting planners, and I can only imagine that the meeting planners in the business world have got to be, especially when it comes to hiring a comic, they've got to be super nervous. I mean, I know you know what you're doing, but they probably think you could be a loose cannon. So what assurance can you give them to share that your message will remain on point, and if they need it to be clean, or are you just a no holds barred kind of guy, and if they want you to be clean, just say, that's not a job for me?
Well, I work with the parameters that I'm dealt with, because that's how flexible I am and pliant. That's where the yoga comes in. Not just the body, it's the mental. So I can contour my message to the likings of the host. And I do that I start off the show with some feng shui. Sometimes the energy's not good, so I'll have people move around in the audience.
Oh, nice.
Like a lot of times I'll separate wives from their husbands and set them up with some other people, because they weren't meant to be with that person, and they leave with the other person. This is what I call speed dating.
Hey, so off topic here. Have you had a chance being in Vegas, and I'm sure you've probably gotten a chance to do some TV. Also, gotten a chance to be on any fun shows?
Oh, I've been on pretty much all the local shows there, morning shows and interview shows there. That there were so many of them, I can't even limit myself to naming one.
Anything special or weird that has happened in your comic days? I mean, anything that is you've probably even worked with some pretty cool rock star acts or other comics in the Vegas scene.
Well, I wouldn't have worked with them because I had my own show. So I was not working with them, but there's a lot of cats that are performing weekly in Vegas. They, what they normally do in the regular clubs is that they have a lineup of 3 performers each week, and it's a different performer each week. So I could mention names here, but I don't think your viewers would know who they are.
Oh, okay. Well,
not everyone has my name recognition.
No, the Tommy Lama, definitely. Everybody does not have that recognition at all. So, what's the hope? Like, what do you want to try to get out of our audience? If there's something that you could say, I'm going to paint the perfect picture for you. Help me sell you to my audience. I would love to be able to help.
What I want your audience to know is that I can deliver a show for their Christmas parties, or if they want a demotivational speaker.
That's always good.
A demotivational speaker. I'm great for pranks. That's what they say. If they want to play a joke on your employees, I could come in as a speaker. Or if you want a show, and I could work on whatever topics your corporation or party wants, and adjust the details for that, and give you a unique metamorphosis where you leave worse off than you came in.
Well, I think that's important. I mean, you talk a lot about healing. I mean, is there any foundation to it at all? I mean, we
do meditations. We do meditations. We do past sense memory exercises. I read the past. Unlike Nostradamus, I can read the past. Who does that? You know, like you never heard of that?
No, I've never heard of somebody reading the past. That's excellent.
Read the past. It's amazing.
Well, I'm looking at some of your gallery stuff, and you do some meditation for a healthy prostate. That's good.
Yes.
You do some incense burning. You're dealing a lot with the symbols, and you're even on Wi-Fi to God in one of these photos as well.
Right. Well, what I take is the secular and the holistic, and I mash them up to have no meaning. So it's a vacuous show where you get very little out of it, but I performed the goal of escapism for a whole fun hour or so, or plus, whatever the needs are, and and we get into the core. People are crying from laughing; they're tearing, and this is cathartic. Their stomach hurts after they see the show, and this is good pain. We're working on the solar plexus chakra. You know, chakras are energy centers which were generously given to us by Shaka Khan.
Oh, and Rufus too.
Yes, very good. You would have made a good pupil of mine.
Yes, I am a good pupil, Sensei. Please take me.
You would have been very good. You would have been very good. You know, and I read, I do past life regressions. I do animal readings. I have cards that I'm able to identify your animal spirit. It's unheard of. Like, what's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal is the dog.
The dog. Okay. Well, you'd make a good husband if you are one. Are you a husband?
Several times, yes.
Several times. Right. And so you basically, with your wives, you rolled over and played dead. I mean, it makes sense.
Totally makes sense. I'm looking at some of the press on you, and one of your admirers calls you the Don Quixote of life coaches. So that's pretty good. Tommy's set is like music. I can listen to it over and over again. He is hilarious. I believe it. I think that an audience of one is sometimes when I heard that I was going to have somebody that actually does comedy for a living or creates nostalgic moments for a living or can read the past for a living, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to be a great audience for him. And then I thought, no, he's really good. I don't have to be that perfect audience. You're good anyway. You make me laugh. You're good.
Well, I just want you to know, not only am I good, I'm the best, but I don't get the credit for it because you got guys out there like Tony Robbins, okay, stealing my spotlight, stealing my thunder, saying to everyone that that the secret to success is to never give up. Loser. The best way to fail is to try. I'm undefeated in water polo because I never played water polo.
Nicely done. Hey, Tommy, if somebody in our listening audience wanted to get a hold of you to bring you into their company or to at least talk to you just about the shit that's going on in your life, how can they do that?
They can reach me on my website or Facebook. They can Facebook me, but my website is TommyLama.com. And then my Facebook is Tommy. I have to look it up.
Tommy, are you drinking right now?
Well, I do believe in the vodka cleanse. I do believe in the vodka. Have you heard of it? It's my new fad.
Yes. Strickland and I, we partake every time we record, so we're all good. That's okay. You can send me any. I think I actually have some links to get to you. Let's see. We'll make sure here. Tommy at TommySavitt.com. I would figure that you would be Tommy Lama everywhere that you go, though. I
am. No, but the problem is before I became the Tommy Lama, I was Tommy Savitt. But the Tommy Lama on Facebook page is at Hey Tommy Savitt. 2 T's at the end. The first T is silent.
Thanks, Tommy. Tommy, I appreciate you being here today. Nice guy community. If you want to get a hold of Tommy to talk to him more about the services that he has and can bring to your company, man, he can definitely bring at least an hour worth of sheer joy to your wife, if not your audience. Make sure you check him out on his website. I'll make sure we put it in the show notes as well. Tommy, thanks for being a part of the show today.
And I just want to say to your listeners, for those that tell you that the glass is half empty, I say you break that glass and cut them.
Nice. With that in mind, Steve O'Brien, take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Fill up your week with the Nice Guys. The Nice Guys on Business are publishing 5 episodes a week. Isn't that against the Geneva Convention?
Fantastic.
Wow, you got a whole studio and everything. Man, you got guys working for you and all. Shit. What the hell's wrong with me?
Well, hold on 1 second. What'd you say?
Ask him if the volume is good enough.
Is the volume good enough for you?
Yeah, you're good. I'll do everything I need to do on in the post-production side, but your volume sounds really good. You can be right up on top of that microphone if you want to be.
I'm on top of it right now.
That's great. Well, tell her to get off you.
Okay.